My 33/my wife, 30/ for 2 years, is threatening divorce constantly. Married 2 years. My wife has always been somewhat paranoid about me leaving her. Prior to marriage, we would argue, but not like this. She is constantly threatening to divorce me now. I feel like she's trying to sabotage our relationship with the threats and the arguments. She sometimes takes her ring off. I've talked to her about this, and she said she feel anxious and afraid I'm going to leave her when we are. I don't understand this. She is seeing a counsellor, and it is she's been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, and an anxious attachment is very insecure and has poor self-esteem, also has poor emotional coping skills. Apparently this is what they are working on. Anyway, we got into another fight last night, where she threatens divorce, and I told her to get out. She started crying and begging me not to leave her. I told her she's the one that has been making the threats, and I'll have papers waiting for her when she comes back. She broke down and started wailing. I left her there because she was out of control. When I came back home hours later, she was gone. During arguments, she usually also leaves the house without telling me where she's going. She is apparently having a mental breakdown at her mother's house. I don't know how else I should handle this or what else I can do to get her to stop. She knows that it hurts me, but claims she is struggling to control her emotions when there is conflict. I don't know if I should keep giving her chances. To a wife, threatening. Started counselling. Counsellor says she has an anxiety disorder and anxious attachment style when dealing with conflict. Wife says she's trying to stop, but is having trouble controlling emotions, wondering if we should die. Edit, thank you all so much for your support and advice. I went out to take the dog for a walk, and I am flabbergasted by the number of responses. A lot of people have asked what the arguments have been about. They're usually over small, insignificant things. For example, we got into an argument over what to get someone for Christmas, and it kind of escalated because we were both starting to talk over each other and trying to be right. I guess saying we argue often is kind of vague and subjective. I'd say about every 2 months this happened. I can see she tries to stop herself between that time, but ultimately it comes out eventually. According to her counsellor, arguments make her feel uncomfortable and ashamed, and she doesn't know how to handle her feelings when emotions are high, so she threatens divorce and leaves to escape the overwhelming feelings she can't cope with. She's been in therapy for 4 sessions now. Thank you all so much again. I kind of understand, as I've experienced similar. Long story short, you started to feel really bad. I felt constantly abandoned. I felt robbed of the opportunity to help and support and be a person they needed. I felt selfish for thinking of myself, but after so much I started to think, why am I being treated like this? I'm a person you can't pick and choose when you want your partner, and it's manipulation to constantly threaten to leave. It literally translates to I'm going to do what works for me, and I get to do that, or else I'm leaving you. And last time I checked, relationships consist of 2 people, so that's just fucked up. But fast forward, I started to put my foot down after trying, of course, to be there, and constantly told to off. I put my foot down and say, Doc, you can storm out, but you will not return today. I'm not going to be on standby. I matter too. If you can't see that, then I also need space. Believe it or not, they stopped. It made them see they were kind of foul for just taking emotional selfishness as an excuse to dismiss me. Having a hard time doesn't mean you are allowed to treat someone like shit. Of course, my friend, it's not about if she means to she is treating you like shit. She may not be intending to. I'm not trying to say she's a bad person, but you gotta make yourself known, because you are in the back burner, and that's not fair. She needs to communicate if she needs to go, because she is so upset, and that's how she copes. Fine, but she should communicate that, not disappear. She needs to consider the impact of her actions. I imagine you're left at home abandoned, angry, sad. Don't know, not happy, and that's not cool. You are supposed to be a team. Think about you, not just her. Because what is stopping this from making you see problems too? Sorry to go on and on, but I hope you're This is a tough situation. I think the real answer is how much is too much for you personally. It sounds like she's putting you through emotional abuse continually. It also sounds like she's trying to get help. From the seriousness of the situation, it doesn't sound like this is something that's going to change anytime soon. Serious anxiety can take years or even decades to overcome. As she continues treatment, it should slowly start to improve. However, you have to think about your own emotional state. Is this something you can live with for a while? It might help to have a conversation with the counselor as it relates to your own mental health. It also wouldn't hurt to talk to your own counselor specifically about your own situation and get some opinions/options how to handle the situation based on what is before for you. Oh God, as someone who used to do this, my heart breaks for her. She is trying to leave you before you leave her. I don't have answers, and only you can decide if you want to help her work through this. What helped me and my husband, he withdrew when I did this, was my friend saying, if he did leave you, would you stop loving him? And of course the answer is no, though painful, I would still love him. She suggested I tell my husband that instead of threatening to leave. So I tried it. We diffused every fight. We started working as a team. Unfortunately, she will need to work through this, but you have to decide if you can outlast the process. Also, she has to be willing to try. If she isn't, that is your answer. Leaving